welcome to Dream House Show. Today we are going to speak to Max about acquiring the house when you're living overseas and you're not American national or green card holder. Max, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And we would like to discuss today only on one topic. We have discussed so many topics in the past, savings and starting the businesses and all that. Lot of overseas residents would like to acquire properties in the United States for a number of reasons. One thing, it's the most secure place in the whole universe. Secondly, there is a law of the land. It is not that it's not a lawless society like others. And moreover, they feel secured, protected, and comfortable. So how a person living in India or Pakistan or Bangladesh and working there and have saved substantial amount of money in a very good position, he does not want to move and live here, but he would like to acquire the property. So eventually, the goal will be that by the time he retires or she retires, they will be able to, the values will go up, they will feel secure in their investment, and if they get a green card or a visa to live here, they will prefer to live here. What are the steps they should take? If you could clarify all these things one by one and what to do, I will appreciate it very much.
Sure, not a problem. All right, well, first and foremost, I'm actually working on a file as we currently speak with a gentleman that happens to be from Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
So that's going relatively well. The program is called Foreign National. So that's our program. It's for foreigners. It's called Foreign National, and it targets those areas that you just communicated to me: Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, things like that, along with a slew of other areas within our arena. However, anytime you're doing a loan with a person that's from a foreign exchange, if you will, what we do is typically, as you know, there's absolutely no credit score. So there's no credit to pull. Here, that's how we qualify you on your credit score. So because there's no credit score, we may require on a conventional loan that you would put, naturally they can't do an FHA loan because that's a government loan. They're not a part of our government. So that's not going to happen. However, typically we look for 20% down on a conventional loan, which avoids PMI and all that other stuff. Because they are from another country, we want to know that they have what's called the ability to pay. When we qualify loans, our main objective is we just want to know that you have the ability or the liquidity to pay back these funds. Makes sense, right? So in their particular case, where someone else may put down 20%, they're forced to put down 40%.
Oh, 40%.
Right. So their LTV is at 60%. Mm-hmm. So we'll cover 60% of the value of that particular property for them. The way I remember one time before we talked and you were very clear and you said, how exactly do you guys qualify it? Because, you're not looking at W-2s, and that was a concern of yours.
Yeah, I don't know.
You recall when you asked me that?
Yes.
Well, the way they're actually qualified is their place of employment from where they are. That's what we do. We contact that particular region. And what they do is, just like anything else, they transfer that data on over to us.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Whom do you contact overseas?
We contact, so when you fill out a simple intake form,
right.
So it's going to have whatever the name of that entity is.
Right.
We will then in turn literally contact that entity. Correct.
Okay, asking them, verifying all the information, what has been submitted to you.
Correct.
Okay.
And keep in mind that in our in-house underwriting department, it consists of people from every nation that you can possibly imagine. Whether we're talking about Poland, meaning Polish people, or whether we're talking about a person that speaks Indian or Guyana or whatever that case is.
So your underwriting department consists of different nationalities?
To say the least.
Okay.
So what will happen is they will call, and then they'll say, you know what, da-da-da, he worked here, he did this, he did X, Y, Z. Well, can you send us something to solidify that? They'll then in turn transfer that data over to us. That's one way. We also acquire, when you're filling out the application, we want to know, do you currently own in that particular country that you're from? We want to know, do you own? And if you do own, then we inquire about that. We want to know, we contact the bank. We want to know if you have a good paying history and things of that nature.
Most of the time, the properties acquired in these countries, they are on, they are not on mortgage basis.
Right.
Let's put it 80-90%. That's one thing. And unfortunately, the value is much more than it is declared when the transfer is taking place to avoid the taxes, because mostly it is cash economy.
Right.
So there is no mortgage involved. So you cannot talk about the history there, but what you can ask for in Pakistan, for example, is the proof that they own the property.
Well, that is asked for. That is asked for.
Because there will be no bank history most of the time.
Well, keep in mind that particular part of the job, I'm not responsible or anything like that. So I could appreciate that. But we have trained underwriters that get all relevant information of what's required. So there's a worksheet of whatever it is that it's bullet points that say we require this, we require that, and this is what we require. So ultimately, if you own a property and you tell us you own a property, then there's something like a deed in lieu or something to solidify
document
that, right,
proving that you own it.
Correct. That
whatever the document in that country is available.
That's correct. And then we also look for what's called an appraised value. So if you do own the property,
appraised value in that country.
That's correct. We want to know exactly what that property would be worth today.
You will never find the truth.
I probably not. But if we can just get close to it. But when you're able to bring 40% to the table, and you're gainfully employed, and we're getting the right data that we need to see. But I'll tell you this: the funny part is, in America, as you know, we have reached our peak when it comes to foreclosures. There's so many foreclosures. There's lists. Asset managers have hundreds of thousands of houses in the U.S. that have been foreclosed on. The ones that come from foreign nations are very few to slim to none.
I agree.
Which is great. So the program is actually changing, where they're talking about, we may go from 60% to 70% because it's been so successful. So at this particular time, it's a very good program, and it's something that we actually embrace.
I would like to get some clarification.
Sure.
When you're talking about the 60% and 70%, and when you started talking, initially you said 60%, and you said they should be able to prove that they will be able to pay the mortgage, the monthly installments. But remember that they are not living here. Some professional managers will be managing the property. So if somebody has bought a house for $200,000 and paid the 40%, that is $80,000. So the $120,000 left mortgage. So that property should be able to generate the monthly installment from there.
Well, first and foremost, it depends on what type of property that you're talking about. Because
we're talking about a house,
Right. But
dream house.
Absolutely.
Dream house in America.
This is a good thing, right? So when you said that it should be able to generate, because Chris, when you say generate, keep in mind that I buy, I sell, I'm an investor. So when you said it should be able to generate, I'm always thinking in my mind that it's self-sufficient, meaning it'll sustain itself. But when you're talking to a person like me, then you're talking about a multi-unit dwelling. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. When you say multi-dwelling, you're talking about the investor who lives here. No, from overseas?
No, right. Because keep in mind that, you yourself have a multi-dwelling, and you don't necessarily have to live there. You can rent your house out, and it's self-sufficient, meaning it will sustain itself just from the rental income that you can get in the area that you live in.
The goal will be, of foreign investors. If I'm living in Karachi and I have been able to save money, and I have been able to pay 40% or 30%, whatever it comes to, plus the closing cost, the goal will be that the property should be generating that kind of money, that will pay the installments and something will be left.
Correct, because right now, what I'm seeing, which is a great thing, is we're working on a 4-family right now, and the gentleman has no interest of moving to the United States, but he visits the United States. But he has the 40% to put down. It's an investment property for him, where you're here in New York, but you're welcome to buy a house in Florida. You can buy a house wherever you please.
Anywhere, yes.
So in his particular case, he's saying, hey, I'll put the 40% down. I'm going back to Pakistan.
Right.
The house is self-sufficient. I have a person like you that's managing the property for him.
Yeah.
His mortgage is covered. There's a remaining balance because he's in the green and not the red.
Right.
So there's a remaining balance. Let's just do simple math. It's $4,000. $2,000 goes towards the mortgage. $2,000 goes towards his pocket, and that's an ACH payment that's wired directly into his account, be it here or be it an overseas account. But he's able to do that. That's one way. That's one way of doing it, which you have the right to do. And those are programs that we in the bank welcome. You know, we just want to know that you have the ability to pay. This is a gentleman that clearly has the ability to pay.
The first, sorry,
Sure.
please go ahead.
No, well, that's just one way. You have another program where you have a gentleman that's from the same place, whether it's Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh. He comes here and he enjoys it. He has family in the United States, and it's a vacation home for him.
Yeah, that's a different ballgame.
Correct. He puts his money down. He's proven that he has the ability to pay. There's absolutely no problems with that.
Are you talking about multi-dwelling for the second situation also?
No. We're talking about a gentleman that has a lucrative income.
Okay.
That's put down this 20%, which
Right.
there are many people in India and Pakistan that have lucrative income. Put down their 20%. It's an investment property or a second home for them, or a vacation home,
Oh, okay.
and they're in the position to pay it.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
We have to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. We'll be right back, gentlemen.
Nasir Faizi CPA, one and only certified public accountant in town. For all your accounting needs, bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax, personal tax, or problem with IRS, we make your job easier. A reliable name in accounting world, Nasir Faizi CPA PLLC, 718-510-6771.
Pearl Banquet and Restaurant. Join us for weekend brunch for more than 65 delicious dishes. Food for the whole family and especially for kids. Pearl Weekend Brunch. Subah ka nashta, dopahr ka khana, or sham ki chai. Everything under one roof. Call for more info. Qasim Ali Arshad at 973-240-7475, 973-489-8784, or 732-939-6270. We also do catering for your parties and corporate events. Pearl Banquet and Restaurant in Parsippany, New Jersey.
Shahnawaz, very good.
It's so delicious.
The flavor is different from other restaurants.
Excellent biryani.
Fantastic food. Shahnawaz is wonderful.
मयार खुद बोलता है शाहनवाज बैंक्वेट हर किस्म की तकरीबात के लिए ऑथेंटिक पाकिस्तानी खानों के साथ और खुसूसी वीकेंड बफे एक क्वालिटी फैमिली टाइम मजे की रिवायत के साथ
पाकिस्तानी खाने के लिए बेस्ट जगह शाहनवाज बैंक्वेट है।
शाहनवाज नाम ही काफी है। बुकिंग के लिए राबता कीजिए।
पंजाब ऑटोज हर किस्म की गाड़ियों की मरम्मत का मरकज। टैक्सी और लिमोजीन के लिए हुसूसी डिस्काउंट।
पंजाब ऑटोज और मेरा पिछले 25 सालों का साथ है। आई एम सो हैप्पी पंजाब ऑटोज नाउ इन न्यू जर्सी।
Call Hamid Mughal and Mubashir Ahmed 732-727-6800.
Welcome back. We are talking to Max Watkins about the acquisition of a house, a dream house, while you are living abroad or your home country. And we are trying to find the ways, what are the ways of financing, and then after financing, how to maintain the house after you have acquired so that there are no problems for the bank or for you. Right?
That's absolutely right.
Okay, so when you said that the second situation, this is a vacation home for a person who is really loaded with money and they just...
Absolutely.
Okay, in that situation, how would we guarantee that the payments coming from abroad, for this? And I have to discuss another situation with you, which is about the money being transferred from overseas.
Right.
So we have to talk about that also.
Not a problem.
So let's discuss how he will make the payment. I mean, if he buys cash, then you are not involved at all. Right?
Ultimately, when you have a gentleman that has, and this is the way this particular client that I'm advising you about said this is the easiest way for him to set up payment. What he does is it's called an ACH payment.
I know ACH.
An ACH.
Actually, they don't know the ACH.
Right. So that's why I'm defining it for your viewers that may have never heard of an ACH. It's simply an automatic payment that's set up from bank to bank.
Yes.
So you have two banks and they'll do a transmittal where he's saying, hey, listen, every month on the first
such and such date, take out that much money
precisely
from this account, and it automatically happens. Which
precisely.
Is called ACH.
And it's a wire.
It is a wire transfer, and it is the least expensive way of transferring
to
money.
say the least. And you're
It's
not
secured.
You're not late.
You're secured.
You're on time, and it's a good thing. You know what I mean? The good part about it, though, is when you have a person that's overseas, and you brought up Pakistan, but I don't want to keep saying Pakistan because they can be from anywhere. You understand what I mean? But we're just talking about international. Can we just use the word international?
I mean, I said Pakistan because you have a client,
right?
And I am of Pakistani origin.
Are you Pakistani?
I'm Pakistani
I didn't
origin.
know that. I thought you were Afro-American.
Oh.
But
that's a good joke.
Well, a lot of people tell me I look like Donald Trump, so I understand.
That's a good joke, too.
I apologize. But back to our viewers. Thank you. I needed that. But back to our viewers. With the payment, with the repayment and things like that. What I was going to say was the good part about it is when you are living abroad and you're making those payments monthly, if in fact you're not a U.S. citizen and you decide to come and get a green card or whatever it is, that helps you establish your credit. And to own a home is one of the strongest credit ratings you could actually have. That would help you acquire that American Express or that Visa or whatever it is. But that would put you in a very good position.
It will give you a positive, situation.
Correct. And we basically will go back on that. Do you understand what I'm saying? We will go back on the time that you started it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's some of the good things. So just to let you know the way that works.
There's another thing which is kind of needs clarification and is kind of alarming also, because you do not know the foreign exchange laws of these countries. I'm talking about Asia. And when I say Asia, I'm talking Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. And these countries have different kind of foreign exchange laws.
Right.
And Philippines also, for that reason. Then we do, and then Middle East does. Okay. So it is not really technically, legally allowed to transfer any amount of money.
Well,
so what they do...
There is, I didn't mean to cut you. And I want to thank you for bringing up laws, because there are laws in every state. So for me to try to be a banker and keep up with the laws in 50 states, and they are talking about other countries, it's almost impossible.
possible.
However, I appreciate you bringing up the laws, because that's where we have in our underwriting department, we have a person that's assigned to each and every one of those countries to like, if you ask me something, or
you'll go back to the underwriting,
right, I'm able to
and get the information from them.
I'm able to go into the bank system and acquire that particular data. What I do know is what we can and what we can't do and what we look for.
Okay.
The laws behind it,
You-
I don't know.
You know,
That's why we have compliance.
I would appreciate if you could really go back and try to find out that, let's take an example, that a gentleman or a couple lives either India or Pakistan.
Sure.
Okay, and they somehow have been able to manage to open an account in Dubai, and they have bank account there in their names, and they have money there in Dubai, because there is no restriction of transferring the money.
Right.
So if a person living in these countries where the restrictions are imposed,
Right.
try to buy a property and transfers the money from Dubai to the United States,
Right.
will there be any problem? I would like you to explore that possibility.
That is something that I was going to say that to you. That is something that I think that's a very intelligent question. I don't have the answer to that. But
No, I'm sure you don't.
Right, but I will get
Neither
it.
do I, yet I asked the question.
No, but I will get it.
Yeah,
because
I
I'm sure
will-
you have quite a few viewers that need
Actually,
to know that.
all of them will be in that situation.
Right,
too.
right. Well, Dubai
Actually,
is a beautiful country.
Dubai is the country which provides the shelter to all these kind of activities which they
Right.
cannot do in their own countries.
Absolutely.
India is having a tremendous crisis right now after the demonetization of the currency of 500 and 100. Today, New York Times, reports that there is 1% GNP, gross national product drop.
Oh, really?
1%, which is a huge amount for India.
You're educating me right now.
And then the unemployment is on the rise, because India and Pakistan, they are both these countries, and Bangladesh to a certain extent, these are cash economies, really.
Right.
And what Indian government is trying to do, I mean, cash economies are so huge that they are bigger than the real economy. Underground economy is bigger than the real economy.
Okay.
And Dubai is a hiding place for all this illegal gotten money.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That explains
I'm
the
sure
mon- that
this is a
explains
news
the money.
to you.
That explains the money in Dubai. 'Cause
Yes,
there's lots of money in
this
Dubai.
is all ill-gotten money, most of it.
Right.
Actually, all of it.
Right. Wow.
And Dubai provides shelters to people who
Right.
cannot be in their homeland
Sure.
and live in safely.
Sure.
So it will be really a Herculean task for you to find out the United States law, that what kind of restriction, because it is assumed most of the time in United States that if the money is coming from these places, this is a tainted money, drug money, this money, that money,
Sure.
But people who are trying to buy investment properties here and they are working there, it is not tainted money, and it's not a drug money, but it has been not declared for.
Yeah. Well, I understand that monies have to be accounted for because we source money.
That is very
Right,
difficult
money is
question.
constantly sourced. But what I'm going to do is, these are all very good questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email. Everything that you said verbally, I'm simply going to put in writing, and I'll send that over to the underwriters. So I'll put it in the front line.
Yeah.
And then during our next segment, I'll be able to
We
provide
have
you
to
with
find out the
relevant
laws of
information.
United States
Right.
pertaining to this.
Right.
I mean, if somebody sends me money from,
I didn't mean to cut. Send me a list of the countries specifically.
No, I'm talking about these South
that you're
Asia
interested in.
South
Okay,
Asian
okay.
countries only.
Okay, because
which were
keep in mind,
British,
each country,
they,
the laws
they
are
were
going to be
Brit-
different.
They are very, very close to each other.
Okay.
I mean, not in friendship.
Sure.
But in laws and
Right.
hiding money.
Right, absolutely.
And cash economies are big economies there.
Okay.
So it will be really a pertinent question
Okay.
to ask and clarify.
Sure.
Before we start advertising overseas and all that.
Okay.
For this kind of situation where you can buy the property. Money trail, how do we define money trail?
Right.
And the other situation which arises out of this is that, these people who will be trying to buy this property will not be an employee in the lower category.
Right.
They may be directors, managing directors,
Sure.
CEO, CFO, and all
Right,
that.
I would expect that with the amount that they have to come to the table.
Or people, they know the way around. But there are, Pakistan and India India to a lesser extent, Pakistan is an agrarian economy.
Okay.
And when you are talking about agrarian economy, most of these fields which grow all these edible things
Okay.
are not owned by corporation. 90% of it,
Right.
they are owned by individuals. And
When you say things we grow, are you talking about farmland?
these are farmlands. These are
Right.
agrarian economy farmlands.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
Pakistan is one of the largest producer of the mangoes. They export they are the largest exporter of mangoes in the world.
That's good food.
It is the best mangoes you can ever think of. If you go there in June, July, you will flip over because there are a few hundred varieties of mango, which is grown only in certain part of the country, and this is their own. They're quite developed when it comes to agriculture.
I didn't realize there was so much cropping going on in India.
And Pakistan.
Okay.
And Bangladesh. Bangladesh is mostly rice and jute. And they grow less wheat, but India and Pakistan are the wheat eaters,
Right.
They import also on certain times, but Pakistan exports and India exports wheat also. The wheat is a major staple diet, and then is rice. But in fruits, Pakistan is on the top. This is a kind of orange which is called quinoa.
Right.
It's grown in certain part of the country,
Okay.
and they export substantial quantities, huge quantities, because it's unique to Pakistan only, and it is not grown anywhere else in the world, and it is very, very
I
delicious.
try to take a trip to Pakistan.
You should.
I
You
think
should.
I will.
You should. I can make your trip very, very comfortable there.
I'd appreciate that. Let me get my travel agent on the line. But just circling around and going back to the
dream house.
With the foreign exchange. I think that it would benefit or behoove anyone that may be from that area that's really looking to come and kind of plant their feet here, because you get a lot of people, whether they're immigrants or whatever you wish to label them as, but people from abroad that actually come here and want to really plant their feet. I think that's a really good start for them.
So, Max, as is usual, the time runs out so fast.
Absolutely.
That we are absorbed in discussion and
Well, I have a homework assignment now. You've never left me with a homework assignment, so I'm excited about my homework assignment.
It is really important for us to tell them the right way, the right things to do, what
Absolutely.
not to do, what to avoid, and whatever information you can get. So we will continue the same program next week also if you are ready for it.
Absolutely, I'd love to. I would have all the information that you need on the Foreign Nation program.
Okay. I thank you very much, Max, for
Thank you
coming,
for having
and it's always a delight to meet you, and good to know that you can give us all this information.
Pleasure's
and
all mine.
Help a lot of them to come here and let Mr.
Oh my God! Let's get him in before he builds that wall.
Yeah. The wall is on the south side. They will come. Thank you very much, viewers, and inshallah we will be back next week with all these answers to the questions we raised with Mr. Watkins, and we will help you acquiring a house. I guarantee you that. Thank you and goodbye.